Hello everybody, once again this is Terrence Warren, CCNP, Cisco Tutor Guy, and this lab will be from the switch exam. So this is the CCNP switch AAADOT1X lab for the CCNP switch. So with no further ado, let's get into this lab. Alright, now with this lab, it's one of the longer labs in the switch exam. We're going to configure authentication, authorization, and accounting, the AAA protocol or authentication. So we're going to start with the command for configuring AAA authentication. So we start with AAA new model. Alright, so that's the command to activate AAA for accounting, authorization, and authentication. The next, we want to configure a radius server, and we get that information from up here. Here is our, if you can see my cursor, the 172.120.40.0 is the network, and the IP address that we're going to configure for AAA is the 172.120.39.46. Only we're going to use the .40. We're not going to use 39. We're going to do 40. So the command to do this is radius server host, and we have that information right up in here where it says radius server host. And like I said, instead of 39, we're just going to go 40. So the host IP address is 172.120.40. Let's see. What does it say? 46. 46. And that's not all. Okay. Key rad for key radius server, and we can see that where it says radius key rad 123. So that's what we put, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the next line is AAA authentication. Authentication dot 1x, which is protocol, default group radius. Okay, so the next line is, and we're going to get down to, remember we started in the, these are the switches, the DSW1 and ASW1, and these two PZs are consoled into these switches. So remember that on the exam, the topology will be these two switches, ASW1 and DSW1. Alright, so now we're going to configure .1x on the switch, or we're going to enable .1x on the switch with the command .1x system auth for authorization, short for authorization, and control. Alright, so now we're going to configure the interface with .1x, 802.1x. So, interface SA0/1, and then we're going to configure .1x port control auto. Alright, so now we're going to finish configuring ASW1, we're going to go over to DSW1. Now, in this topology in this network simulator, you see that I didn't do a show run on either one of the switches, but on the exam, you want to do a show run on the switches just to see what information is already there and what you need to input. So now, in the DSW switch, we're going to configure an access list. So IP access list, and this is going to be a standard access list. So we're going to write standard 10. And then we're going to go to the next line and we're going to permit 172.120.40.0. We're going to permit that network. And we're going to put our wildcard map 0.0.0.255. Alright. Next, we're going to create what's called an access map. And we're going to start the access map with a VLAN. VLAN access map. Don't forget the dash. Let's call it my map. And all caps, capitalized. 10. Alright. Next line. Match IP address my map 10. No, we don't need to name it. We just need the number. So match IP address 10. And the action we want to configure is forward. This means that once it gets to this access map, the action that we want it to perform is to forward packets. So action forward. Now in the exam, that's not the end of it. You don't just, okay, you exit, but then you got to configure another access, VLAN access map, and it will be VLAN access map, my map 20, match IP address 20, action drop. Now that's not on this simulator, but it is on the exam, even though it doesn't include that here. So make a mental note and even write it down. Like I said before, I think you should be writing down the commands anyway. But what I just said, the next access map you need to configure after this one will be VLAN access dash map my map 20, match IP address 20, action drop. Then you exit. So once you configure that, that will be the majority of this lab. Now, the last part of the lab is to VLAN filter. VLAN filter my map. VLAN list 20. Now, that should be all for this lab, for this AAADOT1X lab. So the last thing we need to do is just submit. But on the exam, you're going to want to copy, run, start, or write limit before you close it out. So we're going to hit submit to see if everything is correct. It's not telling us anything. So maybe I spelled something wrong. Authentication. Let's see. Alright, so for the most part, this is the AAADOT1X lab. Remember everything that I stated, even the things that I didn't type, but just remember what I said. Write these down, commit this to memory, and practice it. Alright, so once again, my name is Terrence Warren. This has been the CCNP switch dot 1X or AAA.1X lab for the CCNP switch exam. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.